Hello and welcome to Integra Lead Solutions presents Leading with a Purpose. This is episode one of a podcast to just help people enhance their leadership skills. So I'm going to say welcome everyone, whether you're joining me live or catching up from a replay. I am very, very grateful. I am very, very grateful you are here today. You took some time out of your day to tune in. My name is Christopher Pusey. I am the founder and CEO of Integra Lead Solutions. We are a small business consulting firm located in Michigan. We don't just do normal, typical consulting. We do people first consulting. You may wonder what the heck is people's first and how does it work? Well, that is the purpose of the series. We call it Leading with a Purpose. This podcast is designed to introduce you to our patent 4Cs of Sustainable Leadership framework, which we use in every single service that we offer to our clients. This series is built for leaders, managers, business owners, educators, nurses, coaches, individuals who want to change their mindset on life, anyone who is responsible for training, guiding, or developing other people. Throughout the entire series, you will hear me reference the 4Cs. I might say it just like that, or I might call it the 4C certified, 4C sustainable, etc. The framework consists of four core fundamental pillars. The first pillar is communication. Then there's creativity, followed by curiosity, and lastly, compassion. Today is not the day I dive too deep into what each of them is and why it is important, but throughout the entire series, I will get into them more. I promise all of you that. Just stay tuned. For those of you that are here live with us, take a moment and reflect of you as a person, a leader, a parent, a friend. Look deeper than the core that you see every day and see if any of these pillars are used in your everyday life. I know I used to think they were on the surface, but after creating the framework and putting myself to the test, I realized I wasn't even close to the true actual terms of these powerful words. So why does the series exist? We kind of covered it briefly in the above section, but leadership is changing. It always has, it always will. It's not going to be no different. But today, people just are not responding to authority the way that they used to, and that is 100,000 kabillion% okay to do. And by the way, we support you in your decisions. Nowadays, teams just don't thrive under pressure alone, and organizations can't afford to have leaders who are just winging it. Though the truth is simple: leadership in today's world requires clarity, connection, and purpose. That is one of the biggest reasons, not only for this series, but for the whole company in general, to help leaders and future leaders build something sustainable, not stressful, to help organizations find leaders who stop reacting and start leading with intention, and to help develop leaders that build teams that just don't function but thrive, both as a unit and for each individual person involved in the project. People in this new generation are starting to realize that they are worth something. Everyone is different though, right? So that something varies from person to person. Someone might think it's money. If they feel like they aren't getting paid enough for their time, they look for a place that will offer them what they feel they deserve. For some, it's kindness. A lot of people think I'm here, I'm not a machine, I'm a person, and I have feelings. I just want to be treated as such. Then there are a few who like encouragement, feeling noticed, and just getting more than a pizza party for reaching goals. I heard an analogy one time at a seminar that I attended when I first finished college and I built a business. And the company speaker said something similar, but added, when we accomplish a feat, rather it's something minor or something major, from hitting our daily productions for a week or gaining the company $50 million in revenue. They give us a pizza party and it starts to tear us down from the inside out. Think about it. If you eat pizza every single day, what's going to happen? You're going to gain a lot of weight. You're probably going to get fat, and that's okay. It is what it is. And when you're heavy, when you're big, it's hard to move. And when it's hard to move, your productivity drops and so does revenue. So feed them something or feed us something that'll keep us motivated and moving, right? Hey, great job. You worked very hard yesterday. Why don't you take the night off and treat your wonderful family to a nice dinner on us? Leaders got to be different. They got to think outside the box and show your team you care in more ways than revenue, sales, and money. Chad, if you're live today, go ahead and let me know what industry you are a leader in. You can type it out in the box. If you are participating from the recording, you can send me an email or a personal message and just tell me what industry you are tuning in from. And it works for if you are also just working in that company and you've had a bad leader. So what does leading with purpose actually mean? Well, I'm sure it depends on who you ask, but it probably has many different definitions. But Integra Lead Solutions specifically thinks that leading with the purpose means when I say leading with the purpose, what I mean is leadership that is grounded, no guessing involved at all. It means you know why you lead, not just what you do. You make decisions anchored in values, not convenience. You create clarity instead of chaos. You build people, not processes, and you lead in a way that outlasts you. Meaning, I want to create a system that when I move on to bigger and better things, or when I retire, the next generation is going to take what I created and add to it, and then some, and they're going to keep it going. How does this tie in with the 4 C's? Well, communication equals clarity over confusion. Creativity equals solutions over stagnation. Curiosity equals understanding over assumptions. And compassion equals people over ego. People-driven leadership, or leading with a purpose, is sustainable leadership. That's how that ties together with the 4 C's, and that's how it ties together with sustainability and leadership together. Chat, if you're still on and you're live, which of the 4 C's do you think you naturally lead with? If you're tuning into a recording, again, send it to me, type it to me, or just take mental note, and then drop it in the chat. Those tuning in on recording, same question, but for those who are not in a leader position or in an industry, rephrase it and think to yourself, which of the 4 C's do you think you use most in your everyday life, both professionally and personally? For example, let's see. My wife yells at me all the time. My kid never listens to me. I'm probably not a very good communicator. So let me try a different one. I'm at home 7 days a week and the kid's out of school for summer break. But we've had something to do every single day this week. You're probably very creative. So those are the things I'm talking about outside of like a professional environment. The 4 pillars of person-driven leadership. Now, these 4 pillars of purpose-driven leadership are based on our 4 services that we offer here at Integra Lead Solutions. Those 4 pillars are leadership development, which means purpose starts with you, your habits, your mindset, your identity. This is where communication and curiosity show up first. Management solutions is purpose without structure collapses. Systems turn into consistency. Systems turn from intention into consistency. This is where creativity becomes practical. Strategic team building is where teams just don't magically align, they are built. And just because your most productive team member seems like the perfect fit for every single project, trust me, they're not. Each project is different, and chances are the team will need to look different as well. I like to call it the 3 rights to project success. The right person for the right project at the right time. And then finally, there's financial management. Purposes must be sustainable. You can't lead well if you are leading blind. You don't have to know the process that you're doing or even the job that you're doing, but you need to know the people in the process and learn from them and ask questions for them and work with them and collaborate with them. And then no one will even know if you know how to do it that great or not. Compassion doesn't mean chaos. It means clarity. And compassion doesn't make you weak. It makes you more trustworthy and aware of your team needs. Ultimately, in my opinion, and with everyone here at Integra Lead Solutions' opinion, it makes you a better leader. Really, it really does, and a better person. The leadership gap. That's the next part. So let's talk about the leadership gap that we're all seeing everywhere across all industries, including schools, nonprofits, manufacturing facilities, retail facilities, government buildings, healthcare. It's the same issue everywhere we go. And those issues, what are they? Let me tell you what they are. Leaders are becoming overwhelmed. Instead of hiring help, they add workflows to the single manager and expect them to get it done in the same amount of time they had for the previous work that they could barely handle themselves anyway. Managers are reactive. And I would say that the managers are more reactive because they're overwhelmed with all the extra work they have to do because the company won't hire any more work or reassign it and be creative and help the managers out. Teams are totally misaligned. It happens to the leaders not understanding their team and learning the strengths of their team and using those strengths in order to have team success. Communication is not consistent, or it is completely missing. Microsoft Teams and emails, I'm sorry, that doesn't count as good communication. Is it communication? Sure. You're talking from person A to person B about object A. Fine. It can be communication, but it's not good communication. Good communication is much more than a platform or a system. It's a voice. It's a set of ears. It's a pair of eyes that listen and adjust and adapt with intent. Creativity is low. This one is a bit personal for me because a lot of companies don't allow any non-leadership positions the ability to be creative, change policies, or put opinions in about changing policies. And this really bothers me because I've been at the bottom a lot where I'm doing the work every single day. I show up to work for 8 hours. I do the work every day. I mastered the work. I'm really productive at my work. I come up with an idea that makes the work better, faster, so we can double productivity. But since I'm not a manager or a leader, guess what? We don't do it. I get in trouble for changing a policy without manager's approval. They just want us to keep to ourselves and move forward. Curiosity is replaced by assumptions, right? Leaders don't continue to learn, which means they don't adapt to the changes and they stick to the script that was presented to them. They assume that they know everything all the time, and they assume that you don't. And then compassion is at an all-time low and is often replaced with burnout. I have seen it over and over again in my 15 years in healthcare, and even before that, but specifically in healthcare, with the demanding work from the organization's higher ups to the providers needing so much, to everybody having the same amount of work and no one's being able to step off of what they're doing to help you because they have a lot of work themselves. Healthcare is one of the biggest industries with burnout that I've ever seen in my entire life. So we are diving deep here at Integra Lead Solutions into healthcare facilities, private doctors' offices, small doctors' offices, specialty clinics, retirement homes, hospices, behavioral health systems, nonprofit organizations, EMS services. We are working diligently to try to bring them on board and work with us so that we can help them with a cultural evaluation to adapt the way they see patients and people and the people that work for them so that maybe they don't have to have 20 new CMAs every 6 months and they can stick with the team they got. These honestly, they're not personality flaws. These are skill gaps, and skill gaps are fixable. Gaps can be closed, and with this series, hopefully something clicks and whatever gap you're struggling with can be closed, whether it's personal or professional, by some of the hindsight that you get from the words that I'm speaking. In the coming weeks and months, I'm going to have guests on the show, and hopefully some of their insights and stories touch personal and close to you, and you can use their professionalism or their mindset, and it'll help you get through your skill gaps or your bridge, to help you build your bridge to get over those as well. So for those of you that are live, tell me if you ever felt overwhelmed as a leader. And if you are on and you want to talk, let me know. I'll bring you on later and you can reflect and take a mental note. For those of you listening, take a mental note and reflect on that for a second. Pick a C from the framework and think if the person or process that made you feel that overwhelmed would have been different if they had applied one of our C's in the framework. Now, I know I didn't dive into it and get specific with how deep it can go, how customizable it can be, and I didn't break it down industry over industry, but I mean, you got the basics of what it is and how it works, and you can kind of get a sense for how that would go. Here is a story from when I first started the company. I was doing a what do you call it? Market evaluation activity in my area. I found a company, a little marketing company, had about 25 to 30 staff members. They let me come in and do one of my services for them. Obviously, I didn't charge them, and they gave me a bunch of feedback and implemented my systems and waited a month and a half. It was exactly 45 days with a turnover round to see if the changes worked. And then we got back together at the end of that time and we we kind of went through the whole thing. So let me break it down for you a little bit. So I worked with a team recently that had all the talent in the world. Every single one of these people were fantastic. They could sell fur to a lion. Like, it was absolutely incredible. The team was great. Yet they brought me in to fix some personal issues. The biggest issue that I saw was that no one, and I mean not a single pair of people, shared a purpose. Every single person showed up to work on time. They worked hard. They met their numbers, but no one was working together. It felt as though I was watching a building full of people who are going into the business owner's building and is independent contractors working on their own project with imaginary walls between them. It was absolutely the oddest thing I've ever seen with the flow that was happening. The communication from management was unclear. Creativity was low because people didn't feel safe taking their ideas to upper management. Curiosity was gone. It was just, we know what we have to do. We're here. We're done. We don't ask questions. People just assume that if they didn't work hard and hit productivity expectations, they would be let go. Compassion was missing. The biggest reason it was missing was because everyone was exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. You get used to the same thing. So I spent 4 days interviewing the team members, the staff, the leaders, the CEO, and the owner of the business. And we found a solution and clarified their purpose and introduced a framework. Everything shifted over the next few days and weeks. Meetings with me were shorter, less involvement, less intervention, less re-educating, less lead developing. Communication got much clearer. Team members knew what they needed to do, had their expectations with an open-minded leader. People knew where to be and why they needed to be there, and no one was involved in the chaotic scene anymore that I witnessed just a mere week prior to this day. Morale went way up because we created a productivity reward system, and it didn't reward the person who hit the highest productivity like in a lot of companies, like an employee of the month type situation. It wasn't like that, but it rewarded every single person as a collective, because they're working on the same projects together. And so if the goal was met at 80%, then they hit their goals for the month. And this was designed between me and the CEO of the company, because with that type of system, it encourages those who might work a little slower to be a part of the reason for the 80% rather than the cause we're not at the 80%. And it gives them kind of like a morale boost, teams cheering them on. It kind of gives them an uplifting experience to do better and become part of the solution. Purpose didn't cost them anything at all, but it changed everything. Have you ever, so chat, people listening at home, listening to the recording, have you ever been on a team like this? Let me know if you have. And then let me know if and when and what happened. Was it a negative team that did like a complete revamp and then it became positive? Or was the team positive from day one and you all got along and collabed great? Or was it a bad team that just couldn't get fixed and everyone had to disperse and do new things? This is where I want to give everyone a moment to reflect and then write this down. And these 2 questions, okay? Which of the 4 C's do you naturally lead with? Again, this can be personally or professionally. And then which C do you avoid? Maybe not on purpose, but you notice it's the one that maybe you're introduced to the least, or you don't use it as much as some of the other ones that are on the list. So take a moment, and then later, if you're comfortable, I can bring you on and you can pop on and share your story. If you want to make a recording and share your story to me in an email, I can try to get it on the next show and try to bring it to light. Because you never know when something like that can help people. So it's always great to have those times. And then this is what I call part 8. This is called Covering the Series. In the future episodes, especially when we have guests join us, we are going to explore how leaders communicate with clarity, how creativity fuels intervention, how curiosity can prevent conflict, how compassion builds culture, how to diagnose leadership blind spots, how to build systems around sustainability leadership practices, how to align teams around purpose, and how to lead with the 4 C's mindset in real-world situations. But please take a note that every episode will always connect to the 4 C's framework some way or another. live chat. Let me know which topics you are excited for. It will help us build the pod better for the future. And then this series is about equipping leaders with the sustainable tools so they can lead with clarity. Sorry for the background noise. We have a really bad thunderstorm coming. If you want a deeper support, whether it's leadership development, team alignment, operational risk, or people first financial management, I offer free consultations with no obligation. And for anyone who watches live, at least 4 episodes, coffee or lunch is on me as a thank you for the support and your continued support. It's no pressure, just a chat. Remember, my framework isn't only for professionals, it's for everyone. We can create a virtual learning package for individuals as well. It's the same information that I'm going to give to leadership teams and organizations when I go into their facilities, but it'll be done virtually. The email address will be in the chat or posted at the next show. And then in conclusion, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the episode 1 of Leading with a Purpose. Remember that future episodes may have guests, and those guests do have schedules that don't reflect my schedule. And those times and days of the series will vary. We will do our absolute very best to try to give everybody a few days notice on when the next show and time will be. I'm going to be on vacation this upcoming week, so this upcoming Tuesday will be skipped, and we'll reconvene the following Tuesday, which is the 23rd. So go ahead and please share the link that I shared with all of you to other people. Anyone that you may think could benefit from hearing this, using my services, or just connecting in general, feel free to let them contact me. You can go to our website, www.integraleadsolutions.com. You can email me at christopher.pusey@integraleadsolutions.com. You can always call me. You can check out my Facebook, my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok. I'm everywhere. I'm not going away until we change the leadership world as we know it. Thank you again. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day and a happy Tuesday, and stay safe with the thunderstorms.